Well, we have a great collaboration. We had 23 vendors working on this show, and one of Walt Disney's concepts was called plussing it, which was an idea where a project was never finished. You always kept trying to make it better. And that's one of the ideas that Marvel Studios still to this day adheres to. So Kevin Feige, Victoria Alonso, Luis D'Esposito are always pushing to plus it on all of their films. And we use the vendors to all plus it together. So when we share assets or we share shots, they'll all try to plus it on their own. And if one of the vendors pluses it in a certain way that is loved, it gives us the ability to share that between everyone and help push the asset and continue to have multiple paths to make it better.
We are definitely collaborating with them in order to try to understand their vision, the vision of the studio of Marvel, the vision of the director, and try to help them achieving their vision. So we always try to, they brief us, and of course we interpret this brief and we try to propose different versions for Cindy and Jake to be able to have what we call enough bullets when they show it to Victoria and Kevin. We are heading the studio so they can really try to nail the look of each asset. And then there is collaboration between the different vendors where we are sharing assets. So for example, we had Korg, which was an asset, the big monster made of rocks. We were sharing with Luma and us, Framestore mainly, and we were both building the asset in parallel. And as soon as one studio nail a look, then we share it to the other studio. We actually send the 3D file, we send the rig, we send the texture, we send as much as possible to the other studio for them, so it's easy for them to start with the look. And I think it was even more true for Hela, where there is even more vendors like yourself, where we did share it and everyone was working and everyone was trying to nail the same look. And it's all a very big collaboration of how we can, like Cindy was saying, plus the asset as much as possible and iterate and do versions to nail the look and to have the best finished product.
Hela was one of the, an asset that was shared amongst a number of vendors, Rising Sun and ourselves. I mean, you could elaborate on more. There was really a bunch of us working on it. So they're in trying to find and nail the look for her. Everyone's having their go at it, and I guess the idea of how that works in with Cindy's idea of version of plussing it is, we all want to make the best version we can. So whoever hits a version that is liked by the director first, then that's shared. So it was an interesting way to work because there's a lot of work that goes into that, but it's all for ultimately the good fight, the good cause, because it's about just getting.
The biggest challenge that we were faced with was really reinventing Hulk. Again, it's a character that we've seen before, but never in this sort of situation, never in this sort of character. So, you think you know a character until you have to make him talk and do things that he's never done before, and then it's really back to square one. Everyone has a different opinion on what that character should be like, what he should act like, and you really have to sort of get in the head of the character to figure out, what does Hulk act like after being Hulk for 2 years? Obviously you can't just be full of rage that entire time and destroys everything that he comes in contact with. So you have to figure out how do you make this character relatable and sort of endearing when he's not in his typical sort of modes. That was a big challenge, just trying to figure out what that look should be, figure out what the character should be, and it took us a while to get there.
Lots of challenges. We had Mega Surtur, which destroyed Asgard, and it's Ragnarok, and it's all in fire. And it was really tricky, but I think Korg, to design Korg was really hard as well. I think Hela has been a challenge, Asgard, the bridge, and of course Hulk, because like Chad said, it's historically an ILM asset, so we have to up our game and be able to match their Hulk. That was a challenge as well, and there is a massive fight between Hulk and Fenris into the water. So I think I wouldn't pick one. I would say the quantity of work and the different assets and working with Cindy and Jake as a Marvel client makes everything very challenging, because we know that they will want to plus it, they will want to make it better, and they will not say it's approved until the very last minute, and we know that. So it's being able to have a pipeline that is flexible enough to being able to respond to changes up until the last minute on that variety of work was very much a challenge. I would say that was the main challenges for us at Framestore.
We had a sequence that was, changed drastically with 7 weeks to go. It involved hundreds of characters and a full CG Hela with, trying to get Kate Blanchett's face to track to that full CG body. So it was a massive challenge. Similarly to you, we had to come to Framestore. We had to come up with a new character in Satur, so that was its own challenge. Designing a character like him where there's a lot of effects involved. It's not just a straight, skinned surface. It's got a complexity to it. I mean, that had its own challenges. So there was numerous challenges in different ways. Like you say, keeping the show alive and turning around sequences late to be able to continue to value add was a challenge for everybody.
For me, it was the last week of the show, just because we had to deliver. At Framestore in total, we had to deliver 459 shots, and on the last week only, we delivered close to 200 shots. I think 195 shots on the last week only. So that was definitely an epic week at Framestore, where we stayed quite late, but it was great memory actually, because I think our pipeline worked, and I think we were able to render all these shots. They did come through, everyone was working hard, and the atmosphere was still great, maintaining a good atmosphere with the whole team, and being able to deliver that amount of shots, and seeing the studio, Jake and Cindy, very happy. I think that was a great week for us at Framestore. I was very stressed about that, of delivering that many shots, and it did go through okay. And I think it was good, and it felt good to be working in this industry and working all together. And the fact that the movie is actually doing very good at box office, and everyone is saying that it's a great movie and it's very fun. That feels great. I think as soon as you work on a great project like that, I think you forget all how hard it was and how challenging it was, and then it's all.
Artists these days are in a really good position. There's an overabundance of work, so there's a lot of opportunities for young artists. We're hiring people straight out of school, and I think 20 years ago when we started, it was a lot of a different, it was a different environment. My dream when I was a kid and when I first got into the industry was to work on a big Hollywood film, and that took a lot of work and a lot of perseverance to actually get to a point where we could actually work on stuff like that. Nowadays, I think it's a lot more readily available for people. If you get a good education, you go to some good film schools, you can easily get a job straight out of school at a pretty decent studio, and right away you can be working on some of your favorite movies and really sort of reaching that aspiration a lot quicker. So I think on that front, that's a real positive for a lot of people that are getting into the industry now. On the flip side to that, it is a lot of work, and you really have to be prepared for that type of lifestyle. It's not something that you're gonna have 9-to-5 type jobs. So not to deter, but it's something that I think that you have to be prepared for, and you have to really be fully committed in order to really succeed in this sort of industry.